Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are traveling back in time to 1898, a very famous year in American history. It was the time of the Spanish-American War.
This is the story of the thousands of men who survived the Spanish-American War, but died in stinking, fever-ridden camps because of heavy wool coats and poisoned meat. It was a victory paid for in blood, not on the battlefield, but in the hospital tents. People often call the Spanish-American War a splendid little war because the U.S. won very quickly. However, the truth is that it was a very sad and difficult time for the soldiers. Even though the actual fighting ended fast, a much scarier silent war began. In this war, the enemy was not a soldier with a gun, but tiny germs and bad planning. Only about 385 Americans died while fighting, but more than 2,000 died from sicknesses like yellow fever after the war was already over. The reason so many men died was that the military leaders were not prepared for a war in a hot, tropical place. They made many big mistakes that hurt the soldiers. First, they gave the men heavy wool uniforms. These clothes were great for cold weather, but they were way too hot for the burning Caribbean sun, causing the men to overheat. Second, the food was terrible. The soldiers were given embalmed beef, which was meat that had gone bad and was filled with chemicals. Eating this meat made thousands of men deathly ill. Finally, the places where the soldiers stayed were a mess. These camps were crowded, dirty, and full of bugs that spread diseases. Because the military didn't have a good plan for medicine or clean water, germs spread like wildfire through the tents. This tragedy was a huge wake-up call for the United States. The government realized they had to completely change how they took care of their army. They fixed the rules and modernized everything to make sure this never happened again. But this change only happened because so many brave volunteers lost their lives to hunger and sickness in those fever-ridden camps long after the shooting had stopped.